Yam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakratau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaye Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Namah Pranavarthaya Shuddha Jnanaikamurtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bhadram Karne Vishnunyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyem Akshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Shushtvagam Sastanubhi Vishema Devahi Tanyadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti na Sakshyo Arishtanemi Swasti no Brahaspati Dadatu. Shanti Shanti Shanti. All Upanishads say the same thing. We've been studying several Upanishads. The message is the same. What is it essentially they're saying? That there is only one indivisible Sakshi Chaitanyam, which is real. And that everything else which we can see, perceive, is unreal, is a mithya. This is so diametrically opposite to what we have been convinced of. Anything that I can see, I believe. Anything I see is real. I can touch it, therefore it's real. Vedanta turns it on its head and says, anything that you can perceive is mithya, because you can perceive it. It's an object. There is only one reality, and that is the Sakshi Chaitanyam. This is one part of the first step of the learning. And then simply through logical analysis, one can see if that is so, if everything other than that one Sakshi Chaitanyam is mithya, they are non-self-existent. We will look at it in a minute. What about I? I exist. And I'm an independent existence. If there is only one reality which is self-existing, self-revealing, and if I am existing, then by simple analysis, that one indivisible Sakshi Chaitanyam has to be I. very difficult to accept immediately. Everything else that I can perceive is mithya, non-self-existing. Now look at this. We have arrived at two things. One is the Sakshi Chaitanyam, I. Everything else is non-self-existing. What does that mean? What does non-self-existing mean? It is dependent reality. It is reality. You cannot dismiss it. But it is dependent reality. What does that imply? That for their very existence, everything other than I, Sakshi Chaitanyam, they depend on something else. There's only one something else. I, Sakshi Chaitanya. Very interesting. Although Vedanta does not require any validation by science, our minds are attuned to thinking that if I can prove it by science, it's got to be correct. Vedanta doesn't require to do that. Why doesn't it require to do that? Because Vedanta, the knowledge of the Sakshi Chaitanyam, there is an independent pramana. It doesn't depend on the five senses and their modifications for that knowledge. That is why any knowledge that's gained through the five senses and its cousins cannot be real. In the ancient world, wherever there was an ancient civilization, people who believed, and that belief means science. It's a very big statement. Any scientific fact is a belief because it is subject to change. And people who are convinced that science says so, and when religion tells them, no, it is different, when science says, science available at that time, that the earth is the center of the solar system and everything, including the sun, revolves around the earth. They cannot digest any other point of view. So if somebody comes up saying religion says, no, that's not true, sun is the center, this is a heliocentric system, and the earth and all of the planets revolve around the sun, because it's a belief, the reaction is quite violent. What happened in ancient India? In ancient India, Vedanta itself separated these two knowledge, called one Aparavidya, and the knowledge of the self as Paravidya. Ve vidye de veditavye, paracha paracha. We accepted this knowledge as Aparavidya. And the knowledge of the self, called Brahmajnanam, as Paravidya. Paravidya is ultimate, supreme, Utkrishta. Because it went against whatever one thought was true, one believed was true, the reaction is one of defensive posture. expressed often as aggressive movement. One of the reasons the tradition of Vedanta teaching does not allow interruptions in the class. You cannot put up your hand and say, sir, I have a doubt. It's because our natural reaction to something I thought I knew. Remember, I thought I knew, I believed in, is being turned on its head, is being questioned. I can't accept it. So what happens is, when a statement like this is made, so contrary to what you think you know, if you are allowed to react, then one tends to become somehow try to defend what I think I know. Or else I try my best to find fault with what that says. In Vada is a discussion, dialogue. There are 4 types of Vadas. Vada generally is any discussion. A discussion between 2 people who know equally and are willing to look at the other person's point of view is called Vada. When I think I know, and therefore whatever the other person says, I don't even listen. My mind is always working on saying, how do I convince him that I'm right? Or else I listen to him partially with the intention of finding where he's wrong, disproving him. These are not Vada. Sanskritam has terms for these called Jalpa and Vitanda, where I am trying to prove what I say only. I don't really care about what the other person says, called Jalpa Vada. If I'm trying to only listen enough to say you're wrong, called Vitanda Vada. You can never learn anything by this. Obviously. How does learning take place? Either it's a Vada, where one listens to the other person carefully and says, is there a possibility of what he's saying right? Even though it contradicts what I think. And there is Samvada. Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. In the Samvada. In the Samvada, one goes to a person and says, I think I know you know more. Even if what you're telling me is contradictory to what I know or what I think I know, I'm willing to listen to it very carefully and try to understand why the differences between what you're telling me, what I think I know, are cropping up. That is Samvada, a teacher-student dialogue. You find that all the Upanishads, or many of the Upanishads, there is a very strong component of saying that the person who goes to a guru and wants to learn goes with the right attitude. Pranipatena, Samitpanihi. Those are all terms used in the Upanishad to say that one goes with an attitude not of jalpa, not of vitanda, not even of vada, but of samvada. With the thing saying, look, please accept me as a student. I want to learn. That's why in Vedanta teaching tradition, this is no interruptions are normally allowed. But Swami Ji only said, Pariprashnena, how do I ask questions? Not in the middle of the class. Always a special separate time is provided to raise one's doubts, ask questions, to try and understand how what I thought was right and what Shastra is telling me is different, and how are they different? How do I reconcile the differences? Separate time is provided only to do that. It is why in the traditional Gurukulam system, you spend all the time with the Guru. Other than the time you spent with the Sahapaten, you spent with the Guru. So you got a lot of opportunities to say, Guruji, this is bothering me. How do I understand this? And get the answers, think about it, reconcile it. Now, what happens when a person of very high intellect, an IQ over 160, says, no, all this is not provable. Therefore, I don't accept. Not provable means what? Not provable by the way science looks at things, which is observation, repetition, analysis, inference, reconfirmation, hypothesis, theorization. But we know that although you go through this whole process, you apply all the statistical methods you want to apply, whatever conclusions are drawn is subject to change. But people will claim, I am a scientist. You have to prove it to me. Very simple proof. You tell me one science established fact which has stood the test of time. All the same, all of us are so conditioned. We are told we should have the scientific temper. Nehru's words. And that, therefore, people, they call themselves rationalists. I'll believe it when I can see it. We tell you, because you see it, that's not real. All the same, we look to science to always see, can science show me why this is correct? Science has been working on it. Scientists have been working on it for a long time. Einstein first burst the theory that time and space are absolute. He said they are relative. They are dependent. I thought everything in this Jagat was within time and space, which are absolute, unchanging. Using the same science, Einstein said, no, they're not relative, they change. They're not absolute. That lasted a long time. Till quantum physics came in. I am not an expert in quantum physics, but I read whatever little I can lay my hands on. I find it very interesting. And this came up with the thought saying nothing is real. No electrons or no particle exists as particle. Shakes up the whole belief system science has. Then through mathematical modeling and theorization, you come up with a model which says there are only waves or strings. Then you came up with the thing that it is only probabilities. That the particle exists is only a probability that they exist at a particular place at a particular time. Then they came up with another theory called entangled particles. Why I'm bringing up all this is, this year, 2022, three physicists got Nobel Prize for physics. I tried reading their theory, very difficult, highly mathematical. One person called Clauser in the US, Alain Aspect in France, and the third person from Austria, University of Austria. In simple, our layman term, what they showed, for which they got the Nobel Prize, was the world is not real. Hey Baba, we've been telling you this for the last 10,000 years. You're finding out today the world is not real. What do you mean it's not real? It has only dependent existence. That means if you are not observing it as an observer, it doesn't even exist. And they proved it mathematically. Even Einstein, when this theory was propounded, was stunned. He said, no, how is it possible? Are you telling me that if I don't look at the moon doesn't exist? The theory says yes. Vedanta says yes. Without the Sakshi Chaitanyam, the observer, nothing exists. Because they have dependent existence. The very existence is dependent upon the Sakshi Chaitanya. This is what Vedanta has been telling us for so long. That the world is mithya. Up to this point, science brings it. Up to this point, quantum physics has come to the stage of saying, listen, there is only one observer and everything else is dependent for its existence on this observer. Vedanta takes it one step further. Vedanta says, since you exist, and there's no question of doubting that one Sakshi Chaitanyam has to be you. Chinmayoham. Ham Chinmaya. What does everything else include? Your body, your mind, your senses. All these are objects. They are of the Jagat. Therefore, they don't exist unless Sakshi Chaitanyam is there. Now, this entire Jagat is on shaky grounds. Non-self-existent ground. Dependent existent ground. On this shaky, non-existent, we lean. How are we going to stand erect? You're going to fall. This unreal Jagat is what we lean on. This unreal Jagat can neither support you nor give you what you want. Fact is, you are what you want. You are that. Tattvamasi. You cannot, this shaky, non-self-existent Jagat, how is it going to support me? Suppose you have a great need for a lot of money. That is your assumption. I have need for lots of money. How I arrived at it, we will not go into that. The whole world is saying that. And you keep thinking about it. You have a good solid meal, go to sleep. And very fortunately for you, in the sleep, you dream. And in the dream, you've just won a football pool for £1 million. You are very happy. I've got £1 million. Till all the suckers come around you and try to somehow relieve you of that. Anyway, that goes on in the dream. And then you wake up. Of what use is that £1 million that you gained in the dream for what you want? You can't do anything for you. It may be much more than what you think, what you thought you needed. This is precisely what we're doing. We are dependent on this dependent Jagat for trying to withdraw our happiness from. Even people who are very clever, who have recognized that what they want is happiness, they try to draw that from dependent Jagat. Like trying to gain that £1 million in the dream and say, I'm going to use it to buy a house. How are we going to buy a house? Even when you recognize, which most people don't, that every desire I have is actually stemming from my desire to be limitless. But I don't know how to be. I only know what is in the Jagat. I only know that some more money gives me comfort. I only know that eating good food gives me instant pleasure, which doesn't last. But even if assume that a very highly evolved person understands that what he wants is to be limitless, asks, how can I become limitless? How can you ever become limitless? You are recognizing your limitation. You take something which is again finite and add to it. Finite plus finite remains finite. I add another finite, I still remain finite. How is it possible to ever become limitless? Not by adding more finite, more finite, more finite to that. Vedanta says, listen, that's a very wrong way of looking at satisfying what you need. Because you are what you want. You are what you seek. You are that limitless. You are the 10th man. You only have to know. There is no amount of any input from the Jagat, which itself depends on you for its very existence, to give you what you want. The fellow who wanted a lot of money and dreamt he won a football pool for £1 million doesn't have a question. Why does he want the amount of money that he wants? He might argue that I want to do it to buy a house, to do a lot of charity work, anything. But the fact is, such desire stems only from the desire to be limitless, which is a natural desire. But these other desires are man-made desires. The desire to be wealthy, the desire to be famous, the desire to be big, are all an effort to try and change my sense of limitation. A desire arising because I'm hungry is a natural desire. A desire to generate a lot of wealth is a man-made desire. A desperate desire for others to recognize that I have something which they may not have. And of course, marketing people, the biscuits, they make good use of this knowledge. They make us buy products with their brand in it. So you advertise for their brand, paying twice or thrice what you would pay in a non-branded product. And then another marketer will come with another style statement. Low-slung pants. Because he sells underwear. And he wants you to display the manufacturer's name of the underwear. So low-slung pants. All man-made desires. Natural desires have a natural solution. For hunger, thirst, etc. They're natural solution, but then they keep coming up. It doesn't go away. But this desire to be limitless cannot come repeatedly. Once you know you're limitless, what else is there? How else can there be any other desire? It cannot be bettered. Limitlessness has to be understood. The nature of myself as a Sakshi Chaitanyam, as Brahman, has only to be understood. There is no point in saying, I have now become limitless. You cannot become limitless, sir. Even somebody who says, I'm limitless because my guru told me I'm limitless, can never attain what he wants. It's not a belief. It's a fact that has to be understood. All Vedanta does is to tell you that is the fact. That you are Purnaha. If it cannot be achieved, Swami Ji, how am I ever going to know? Yes. The only way you will know is through Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. By doing Shravana with the right attitude, go to the Guru, ask for this, have Shraddha in the Shastra. Whatever ideas I have, whatever inferences I have, I keep aside, I don't throw them away because I need them later for reconciliation. Do Shravanam, do Mananam, do Nididhyasanam. Come back, do Shravanam again, continue to do Shravanam. But before you can do Shravanam, you need the grace of Ishvara. I may want to do something. I may have all the strength to do that. But without Ishvara's grace, I cannot achieve anything. We've been seeing the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita lately, that every strength, every glory belongs to Ishvara. So I want to know. I'm willing to do Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. I'm willing to work with the right attitude to try getting that knowledge. But something is preventing me from doing that. In order to be able to do that, even that much, I need Ishvara's grace. Ishvara's grace is essentially to make sure there are no obstacles in my learning. Neither my own, nor that of other beings, nor that of any devatas. Therefore, I pray. Remember, at this stage, the person who is trying to learn is not a jnani. He may or may not be a samsari, but he's not a jnani yet, which is why he is going to a guru and saying, teach me. So every Upanishad, depending upon which Veda it is part of, starts with a prayer. This Upanishad, Kaivalya Upanishad, belongs to the Atharva Veda. And the prayer in Atharva Veda, used commonly, which we chant every day when we do puja to Lord Ganesha, and chant that Upanishad, Atharva Upanishad, Ganesha Atharva Upanishad. There also we chant the same. Bhadram karnebi shunyama devaha Bhadram pashyem akshabhir yajatraha Sthirairangai shushtvagum sastanuvihi Vyashema devahi tanyadayuhu Swastina indro vriddhashavaha Swastina pusha vishvavedaha Swasti narstakshu arishtanimihi Swastino brahaspatir dadatu. Clear. May I, with my various karanas, eyes, ears, nose, skin, and tongue, may I see what is auspicious. May I hear what is auspicious. May I touch what is auspicious. If you think a little bit about this, Bhadram is auspiciousness, that which is auspicious. With my ears, Karanaihi, although here it says Karanebihi, grammatically it should be Karanaihi, Tritiya Bhavachanam, like Ramaihi. With my ears, with our ears. Interestingly, it's all in plural. Naha. May I hear what is auspicious with my ears, Karanaihi or Karanivihi. May I see Bhadram Pashyema. May we see Akshabhihi with the eyes. What is auspicious? If you remember, we talked about this earlier in other classes also. The first step towards this knowledge is to recognize Ishvara, to recognize that everything in the Jagat is Ishvara. Therefore, when you say Bhadram Karnebi Shunyama, He Devaha, Devaha is Div Dhatu, effulgent beings. O gods. May I hear what is auspicious? May I see what is auspicious? Here also uses the same Yajatraha. Yajatra Yajnaihi Trayante. Iti Yajatraha. Protect the person who does Yajna. But if you think about it a little bit, that Bhadram is the ability to see Ishvara in everything. When I recognize that, it's the first step towards understanding. Iruppadellam Iraivane. We keep repeating that. Whatever is here, Ishavasham Idagum Sarvam, is only Ishvara. So when you pray, and here it only talks about Karna and Chakshuhu, but it implies all the others as well. With all my Jnanendriyas, may I be focused on the Bhadra. You know, when I was young, I used to wonder, the word Bhadra sounds like, and then it was attached to Kali. Bhadra Kali. I used to wonder, I used to think that Bhadra means something which is fearful, frightening. But Bhadra is auspicious, to be able to see Ishvara. With all my Jnanendriyas, I focus on Ishvara. I see Ishvara in everything. What about karmendriyas? Sthiraihi angaihi tushtuvagum tanubihi. May I see auspiciousness, hear auspiciousness? May I see Ishvara everywhere? Normally, we only see the surface. We're not able to see we'll go beyond that. But with all my jnanendriyas, may I see Ishvara, which I focus entirely on Ishvara. And tushtuvam saha comes from the dhatu, stu dhatu, tuvanti, to praise. So tushtuvam saha is, may I praise, glorify Ishvara that I see with my jnanendriyas. How? Tanubihi. By the Vedas, because Vedas tell me what is. And may I have healthy limbs. Healthy limbs for what? So I can praise, glorify Ishvara. I can understand Ishvara. Vibhuti as everything. Sthiraihi angaihi, firm limbs. May we enjoy firm limbs. May we have firm limbs. Vyashema. Sthiraihi angaihi. Sthiraihi angaihi tvagum sastanubihi. Through the Vedas. And when we say you praise Ishvara, Ishvara doesn't require your praise. Bhagavan doesn't require your praise. But may I recognize Ishvara's glory in everything, and therefore whatever glory I see, whatever glory I talk about is Ishvara's glory. Vyashema devahitam yadayuhu. What a wonderful statement. May we enjoy a full life. Vyashema. Devahitam, as given to us by Ishvara. I have a certain span of life allotted to me. May I use my entire life for this purpose only. Ganeshaswarupananda also said, no, continue to do karma as prescribed by the Veda, even if you live 100 years. So I don't deviate from my effort to understand Ishvara, because that is the greatest danger. Sahasranam manusheshu kashit yatati siddhaye. Very, very few people even make the effort to know. And even amongst them, yatatanam api siddhanam kashit veti mam tattvataha, Bhagavan says. Very few get to know the real self of Ishvara. Get to know Ishvara means what? Get to know you as Purna. Ishvara is Purna. So we pray. As allotted, maybe the entire life spent in praising, glorifying Ishvara, understanding every glory to be Ishvara's, everything to Ishvara Vibhuti. And in this process, may all the devatas help me. I need the grace of every devata. In Kaivalya Upanishad, there's a line which says, ātmatattva padapadnam na vividita kusamaihi pujitam jatu bhaktya Nyatum naivahamite Natastat padmam navivida kusmaihi pujitam jatu bhaktya Natum naivahamishe jadabadillasaha tvatgunan divyapadhyaihi. I myself don't have the capacity. I am alpagnya. I don't even know how to glorify you. Hey Mata, there the prayer is to Sharadamba. Pada Padmam na vividha. May I offer you various types of flowers. Yatum naiva hamishe jadabadir alasaha. I am alasaha. I don't have that capacity. Tvad-gunan divya-padhyaihi. I can't create those divya, but somebody has created, I'm using that one. Praise the Lord, praise Ishvara, glorify Ishvara, only to know that all glories belong to Ishvara. Therefore he says, Indraha. Indra is the Lord of all actions. Ruddhashravaha, of great fame. May that Indra direct all my actions towards Bhadram, auspiciousness. Devahitam yadayu Indraha Vruddhashravaha dadatu naha swastihi. May Lord Indra bless us, bless all our actions. So we work towards only auspiciousness, Mangalam. Similarly, we are said, may we see with our eyes only what is auspicious. There also I need help. So the prayer is to Pusha. Pusha is another name for Lord Sun. That which nourishes the entire Jagat. Without the sun, there's nothing. If the sun were to cool down, nothing will exist. So he says, Vishvavedaha Pushaha. That which is omniscient, that sun, Pushaha, Naha Swasti. There he said, Dadatu Naha Swasti, same meaning, blesses with auspiciousness. And then continues to pray to Lord Garuda. In our thinking, Garuda is a Pakshi, which is Lord Vishnu's Vahanam, which can fly anywhere unhindered. The Garuda, not the run-of-the-mill Garuda, this is called Garuda religiosa. The white, which can fly higher than the eagle, can fly anywhere unobstructed. To that Garuda, Takshyaha, which is Arishtanemihi, whose movements are never obstructed. Indra, he said, of great glory, great fame. Sun, he said, which is omniscient. And Garuda, with unhindered movements, also Naha Swasti. May Garuda bless us with auspiciousness. And lastly, but not the least, may our intelligence, our thinking, may that be also blessed. And for that, the prayer is to Brahaspati. Lord Brahaspati of great intelligence. May Lord Brahaspati bless us. And with all prayer for our efforts to be auspicious, prayers for all the devatas to help us in the process. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May all obstacles which is adhyatmika, created by my own problems. May I not have backache. May I not suffer any kind of this thing so that I can focus on this. Om Shanti. May other jivas not create a problem for me. I sit in meditation and the mosquito keeps bugging me. Please, may those things not happen. Shanti. And all obstructions which are daiva, may they not create problems for me. May there not be an earthquake when I'm trying to sit and attend a class. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Thank you.